What's going on YouTube? This is 3Z Inferno. Who am I here with?
James Quinn.
James Quinn. And what were you running?
I was running Tinplate gadgets. I finished 5th in Swiss.
5th in Swiss and top 32. Alright, so what'd you lose to?
In Swiss I lost to Mermail. I played Mermail 3 times. The two guys I beat were probably better than the guy I lost to, but that's okay.
Yeah.
And then I lost to Fire Fist last round because he won. He got to go first game 3 in Open Rabbit, Thunder King, and I just really couldn't come back.
Alright, so you lost to Fire Fist in top 32?
Yes.
Alright, so I'm here again with Super Special Awesome Cards, collaborating. Alright, so go ahead with the deck list, man.
Okay, so I'll start with the monsters. 3 Fortress.
Yep. Can you turn them the other way?
Yeah, sure, no problem.
Thank you.
Yeah, 3 Fortress, and I also go on 2. I feel like 3 was just too important, especially with the Mermail matchup. Prophecy, I didn't play against Prophecy, but also it's a really good boss monster card. Which it's not necessary to win, but it's really important.
It's pretty important. Yeah.
3 Gear Frame.
Yep.
I drew this really well a lot during the tournament. This is probably my key thing. I mean, the gadgets are fine, but I was drawing this really well and key part of the deck.
One thing, did you have an issue with them having signed cards?
No, this was Alex Van Zandt. I had him sign this at the Charlotte Regional a couple weeks ago when ARG came, and they really were
asking if anyone gave you trouble with it.
No. I mean, I had a foreign card extra too, but I didn't make it. So
that's fine.
3 Goldfish, the Key card.
Do you really need 3? I'm just curious. Would you run 3?
I liked 3. I usually sided one out if I was going second because I felt like it was really important for game 1. It's also sometimes outside of offering. But I originally was going to play 2, but I figured 3 was better because also you can do Goldfish, or you can search it from Grave with Gear John. It's just too good not to run in 3. Okay. Then 2 sets of gadgets. They're black. I've had them for a long time. Just the regular gadgets. Yep. Did well. 1 cannon. Your runner was Force, obviously, because you can get it out if you really need to, but that almost never happens. I started this out a lot when I started in macro against Mermail because this would be a completely dead card. Yes. Gale, some people side deck this. Black Wing's my favorite deck. I really wanted to main deck this card. I feel like I had good synergy with the deck too. I didn't play against Evil Swarm, but I had this as an out to that as well. Also Logia. But it went pretty well. Okay. Then 1 card Cardi. I started this out a lot too because this is a good card when we're going first. When we're going second, it's pretty much irrelevant. You can search with Gigajon. I searched it once, but I used it for a Fortress thing, so it's just a good synergy card. That's 18 monsters. 18.
Did you feel like that was too many monsters considering a lot of the gadgets?
No, I mean I know some gadgets play a little bit less, but I figured 18 was fine because I just had the set of 3s and the set of the Goldfish, Gear Frame, and Fortress, and then I had like 3 1-ofs, which I figured just they'd be like sided out cards. I like to play cards sometimes where they're good in game 1 or 2. I could side them out as cards to put in for my side deck. I like having cards that are just easy to side out. I get that. Somewhat with duality too. Like I play 2 duality. Sometimes I side out 1. Almost never sided out 2. I probably always kept 1. Okay. But if I'm going second, I don't really want to have multiples. Right. 2 MST. I only ran the 2 MST. I didn't have a 3rd or anywhere else, but it worked out pretty well because I don't think this is a deck that really needs to max it out. Yes. But it's a good card, obviously, MST. Reborn, fair enough. Limit removal. I've heard some people don't like running this card. I think it's really important. I won a game earlier today yesterday in Swiss. I opened Heavy Dark Hole, Fortress, Cannon, Limiter, and Deep Prison. And I just set Heavy in Mirror Force. He goes Sabersaurus attacks. He sets 2. I pro Heavy, and I drew the second Fortress. Set Fortress, Cannon, Fortress, and Limiter for game. It's pretty ridiculous.
I think Limiter is a must. Yeah,
Limiters are an unbelievable card. Dark Hole. Dark Hole is really important, I think, because you have your little dudes. You need to get rid of our big guys and just Mermails, etc. Book of Moon. This was, I guess, kind of a tech option. I feel like it works well in this deck. I was under the impression that this was going to stop Bear, which was kind of a stupid thing, but it didn't, and it cost me. I ended up winning the match, but
what did you mean by that?
Well, my assumption was I thought that if you play Bear, you send Tinky, and I book Bear, that it wouldn't get its effect, but I was wrong. But I was still keeping it in sometimes because it stops them from exceeding. It's also, I know Infernity was really popular here today. This card was really good against Infernity. Got it. Heavy Storm. I started this out mainly against like Mermail, stuff like that. It's still Heavy Storm. I know I run a lot of traps, but I want to keep this card. Obviously, it's a staple. I think that's 9 spells. Okay. Traps. 1 Ultimate Offering. Okay. This is the card that goes in it. Some people don't run it, but I kept it in because I feel like it is a win more card, but it really works well when you draw it. I sided it out a lot when I was going second, but if I was going first and I opened this, I was probably going to win. So I feel like this is a really important card. The 1 Starlight Road. I think this is a deck that really needs to have protection, so Judgment's not always enough, and I think Road is a really good card to have in it. 2 Mirror Force. This card worked really well in the tournament, maybe because of the matchups I played, but I really enjoyed playing Mirror Force. I think it's really good. I think it's gotten a little bit better. It might get a little bit better in the new format too.
And it also worked well for me because people were like, "You run that?" I'm like, "Yeah, I still run that." Like,
yeah, and it also punishes bad players. You go to YCS, you're still going to play some bad players,
and not necessarily just bad players, but people
overextend.
They have
overextend.
to
Absolutely,
try to punish them.
Yeah, and the same thing with torrential tribute. Like torrential tribute is a little bit harder to deal with, but it works better. I mean, people can play around this as much as they can Mirror Force, but I feel like torrential still. It's, again, you also have floaters. Torrential really doesn't lose you anything.
Have it back in your hand.
Yeah. 2D Prison. I set it out 1 or 2 of these every once in a while. This is another card where it's like I didn't think it was very good against mermails and decks that have a lot of dudes. So I like to have just more mass effect destruction, and just Deep Prison isn't always doing it. Yeah. 2 Bottomless. These worked well. I usually started out 1, etc. The only matchups where I really kept 2 in were probably Mermail and maybe Infernity. Okay. I might have started. I think I started out 1 in one of my matches with Infernity. Or I guess it was Hope, and I played Infernity once, and I started it out. I believe game 2. The knew it was going to probably open well, so I just it was working them. 2 Fiendish Chain. Well, this went well, but I mean, it worked when it did, but it ended up costing me my match against Fire Fist because I got run over by normals. But I mean, that's a small drawback. It's still a really good card against a lot of matchups.
Would you still run that instead of Breakthrough Skill?
I like this card more than Breakthrough Skill because it stops them from attacking. Breakthrough Skill, I have it in my side, and I've started it a few times, but I felt this was more versatile because, you know, if I have a Breakthrough Skill, you know, they're going to be able to still attack me, and I need to keep some kind of field presence, and I feel this protects that. Okay. So that worked well. And then the last year, Solemn Judge and Solemn Warning, obviously one of staples. Yep. So that's 41.
All right. 41's fine, and especially if you have gadgets and gear frame, you know, fit in the deck. Yeah. I believe that's perfectly fine.
Okay. So on the side, 2 Cyber Dragon. Started this out pretty well against the mirror match. Played the mirror match twice.
You also plan on playing like Curries or something like that?
Well, no, I didn't. Well, I mean, that would have worked, obviously, but I didn't play against that. I wasn't really expecting to play that at the event. It also worked against Fire Fist when I was going second because I needed to get over Warwolves and Vorse Raider or whatever, Sabersaurus. So this is a good versatile card. Okay. The 2 Breakthrough Skill. Like I said, I mean, it's a good card. I think it's gotten a lot more popular, and it's really versatile, but I like Fiendish Chain more. Even though the biggest issue of the thing is they can MST Fiendish Chain, they can't MST this.
Right, that's also one of the things I was going to point out. But we can have a long debate about that. So
but I feel like this is more the side deck card, and Chain is definitely the more main deck one. Okay. 2 Soul Taker. These run really well. Gadgets, I think, is a deck that if there's any deck that needs to run Soul Taker on the side, I absolutely think it's Gadgets. It's possibly even main deckable because there's so many big dudes you have to get over to have your little floaters.
That's also what I was thinking. I was thinking sometimes, wouldn't you rather have like a Soul Taker instead of a Deep Prison in the main deck because you take out a Thunder King and then you can summon your stuff?
I mean, 1,000 isn't really, 1,000 really that big of a deal too. I mean, even though you have small guys, but just getting over the big guys is really important. Right. 2 Mind Crush. I think I was playing Banisher before. I tested the deck a few weeks ago. I played Banisher, and one of my friends, Donnie, he mentioned to me Mind Crush, and I know he's been playing Gadgets. And I realized coming to this event, I was probably going to play against Gadgets at least 1 or twice. And I know Mermail and Fire Fist. I didn't really like this against Fire Fist, but it worked well against the Mirror. This ended up winning me my round 11 match because I opened all monsters, but the one card I drew was Mind Crush, and I Mind Crushed a Gadget and saw the rest of his hand, and it was not very good, so I ended up winning because of that. So Mind Crush is just a really versatile card, but it doesn't fit in every single deck. So just 3 Macro. This absolutely needs to be maxed in the stack. I know it can stop Fortress and Cannon, but usually I would set it a Fortress and a Cannon, maybe just keep the 2 Fortress. Sometimes I kept 3, because, if they kill the macro. The only guy I lost to in Swiss, the Mermail player, like I said, the reason I lost to him was because he had Imperial Iron Wall for my macro, which was kind of really unfortunate, but no one else did that, and macro pretty much just said they couldn't play their hand. And it worked really well, and I usually complemented this well with Fossil Dyna. If I opened this, I was more than likely going to win the match if it was Mermail or Infernity. Fossil Dyna worked really well today, and I think it works really well in this deck because, again, you run small floaters so that you can protect this with the much protection that you have. And that works really well. And the last 2 cards are 2 Tragodia. You can't really main deck this card because of space now, but I still feel it's a good card to side in, especially against stuff like Mirror works really well. I don't like it against Fire Fist. I like it against Mermail. Infernity, maybe it just kind of depends. But it's still a really good card, and you have the constant hand advantage. You're really going to keep them really big. That's the side deck. Then extra.
And it works well against Mermails because you can ditch your Machina Fortress to take them or whatever.
I got a slow play warning in my round, I think it was 9 match, because he had a TS in defense, a Megalo in attack, DeLorean, and then a lead.
Yeah.
And I summoned Fortress, and I was going to be able to, I had Reborn, I was going to take one of his dudes and make Big Eye. But I didn't know what I wanted to Big Eye, so I took apparently about 1 or 2 minutes trying to decide, and they gave me a slow play warning for that. But eventually I killed some dudes, made Big Eye, took DeLorean, returned my chain, but by that point it was still over, there was nothing I could do. Yeah. So then the extra, one of Best Dweller. I didn't make this as much as most people would think because I had the macro and the Fossil Dyna, but it's still there if you don't have those absolutely. And the cool thing is, Goldfish is a water, this can be 22, so that's pretty cool. So about, $12 is a good card. Gemini Pearl, this was specifically in here for Evil Swarms. Yes. I made it one time to go for game because I just didn't want to make Utopia, just wanted to make this card, but it's specifically for Evil Swarms, even though I didn't play it, but I think Pearl has gotten a lot better now.
Right, I get that.
Let's see. Shotmaster, I made this a few times against the Fire Fist guy. I think, no, I know there was one game I made, I literally went to offering Shotmaster, Emerald, everything. I just won that one turn. Right. But I mean, it did its purpose. Utopia's still a really good card. I mean, I know that people can get over it with infantry and stuff like that, but Utopia's still, it's a really good card for Last Resort. Got Cowboy. I made it once or twice. I didn't make it for game. I actually made Corn for game more often because I was having to get rid of a Maestro or a Zen Mains. So this seemed to actually work a lot better than Cowboy did, which is kind of awkward. And Big Eye, I had to borrow this from a friend. I only made it about 2 times. I didn't really need it to win, but I mean, it's there obviously because you can make it. And I think the card is too good not to run it if you can run it. It's a very good card. I personally do think it should be banned at some point because of the way the new decks are going to be able to use this card. And I feel like if they're going to hit the decks, hit the exceeds they can make instead of the actual.
That would be the first exceed they ban, huh?
Yeah, I think they would definitely hit this for Draco Sack because Draco Sack could just help any deck. Right. Just personally, so Big Eye. Emerald, I had put this up before the event. I don't think I would have done as well as I did if I had had Fairy King Alderverge over this. This card is very important in this deck. I would not run it without this card.
Yeah, cycling your gadgets.
Yeah, and it's not even just for offering. It's just even like mid-game. If you have a way to make it and draw a card, it really is important. And like I didn't main Pot of Avarice. I noticed a couple people play Pot of Avarice. The 2 people in the mirror match.
Especially.
Yeah, I mean, and also because I saw a macro and I don't want to have that extra card decided out. I may play Pot of Avarice at some point, but this works well enough for me. Okay. Then we have Maestro.
Of course.
It's really important. Just really good. Because I can't make Zen Mains, so this is my way of protecting myself. I use this to get over, just, bigger guys, etc. So just Maestro's pretty standard. The 2 Gargajants, obviously the go-to exceed for the deck. I pretty much got it off every time I could. There were some games where I didn't resolve it, and that was usually because I was already far enough ahead, or it was just better to make a different card. Gargajon's clearly the biggest part of the deck, and the biggest thing too is when you're running out of stuff. Like for me, I've sometimes played the 2 Goldfish. I always want to search the Goldfish from grave out the second one, so I can keep recycling the Goldfish. Then I have the 1 Chimera, obviously for the Sour Dragons. That's really good. There's 3 Exceeds I run, Black Rose, Stardust, and Armor Master. Now, I didn't...
you said Exorcisms, we meant Synchros. Anyway.
Oh, my bad. So, yeah, Synchros. So, this is Italian. I did not have an English copy throughout the event. I had a couple times to make it, but I was kind of afraid. I kind of thought someone was going to screw me over, but it's whatever. But I played this because obviously I can make it with Gale and a Gadget or a Gear Frame. Stardust for Road. And Black Rose with Gale as well. So those are just last resort things. The only one I ever made was Stardust because of Road. I only resolved Road like 1 time, but yeah, so that's the deck.
Awesome. Thanks, dude. And where are you from?
North Carolina.
And what's your name again?
James Quick.
Alright, thanks guys. So Inferno signing out.